Hey dumplings, it's Dave Decide. Today I want to get into people saying JungKook might be caught changing while shooting something. I also want to get into JungKook addressing these people and a news company apologizing. So, hater or not, make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on. Grab your dumpling, a tea spilling mug merch, and let's get into it. The first thing we need to talk about is a news company apologizing. When you're super famous, it's pretty obvious people will take things out of context, or you just have a lot of very powerful and influential people having a lot of varying opinions. One of those opinions was something that was put out recently by Rolling Stone and their opinion on BLACKPINK. They gave a very blunt and maybe somewhat harsh opinion on the girls. There were two specific members that ended up being trended because the fandom felt like the article was quite unfair to them. This was towards Jisoo and Lisa. When describing Lisa, the article wrote a piece using the words exotic and foreign. The issue with these words is that they are typically used to describe Asian girls in a very fetishizing way. So a lot of non-Asian men would approach Asian women to say that they want an exotic girl or whatever, and it's very clear that nothing else matters to some of these men other than the color of these girls' skin, and that's kind of gross, right? Like, these men don't care about how the girls are inside, how they act, anything about the inside, and typically they'll settle for any Asian girl. It isn't even Asian girls that are the most beautiful. They just like the idea of any Asian girl. So as you can see, there's sensitivity around those terms. Now obviously, since the article is published in Rolling Stone Korea, the author wasn't writing and saying that Lisa was exotic because she was Asian, but they were saying that she is exotic because she was not Korean. Lisa is Thai, if you didn't know. Also praising her Korean pronunciation, which made people upset because of course her Korean would be good. She has lived there for like 10 years. That's like someone saying to me my English was good. Yeah, I was born here. So this is obviously a sensitive issue. They used the word kink to say that Lisa didn't have any with her Korean. However, alongside words like exotic, the word kink may be a sensitive word to use given the history of racism towards Asian women. I think this is just a poor choice of words. I don't think there was any real malintent behind what was said there, but obviously publications of this caliber need to recheck and be extra sensitive, especially when dealing with K-pop. The other section about Jisoo is where I do disagree a lot. The article blatantly says that Jisoo does not possess the same vocal skills as the other members or the best dancer. Now, being completely objective and unbiased, probably a safe bet to say that she is not the lead dancer because that is Lisa, right? But compare Jisoo to the other two members, Jisoo definitely keeps up. It's not like with every performance I am staring at Jisoo and being like, why is she so behind? Jisoo keeps up, there's no question there. As for vocal ability, I have to say, if you've only listened to just BLACKPINK songs, you can definitely assume that, as Jisoo doesn't get too many lines. And then also I can see that you can assume that just because she hasn't had any solo music out. However, if you look up Jisoo singing, either covers or other things, she is the best vocalist in my opinion. Her voice is so strong, there would be no doubt that she has a great voice if she had her solo album out. So I do disagree with that statement. Obviously, there was a big uproar online, and most of the comments were definitely not as nice as what I am saying here. Rolling Stone got a wind of this and released an apology. They said that they will be fixing the article and readjusting the wording a bit and apologize for the misunderstanding. And they did apologize to BLACKPINK. I think with the Lisa comment, there might have been a misunderstanding with the wording, but with the Jisoo comment, it seemed like the writer just didn't look up Jisoo singing to verify if she was considered the least talented member. Mind you, even if that is your opinion and you did do research and it's still your opinion, then there might have been less research in the K-pop genre. As if you know K-pop or have looked up what the fans say in K-pop, you know that calling someone this will 100% get you severe backlash. Now, after the apology, I thought the reaction online was annoying. People were saying that they will never read Rolling Stone again, or that BLACKPINK doesn't need Rolling Stone's validation. However, what is this? These same people were begging for an apology. Now that they have one, they're like, we'll never read you again. Okay, so then just don't read them to begin with. Don't even ask for an apology. If you're asking for an apology, then be open to accepting it. If you don't want to accept it, then you've made up your mind, you don't like them, so there's nothing they can say at that point that matters. So then stop wasting your time by asking for an apology, and stop wasting their time. Just leave. Obviously, when someone apologizes, they're hoping that you'd accept it and move on. Stop begging these companies for an apology or make a statement. If you don't care about the apology, saying BLACKPINK doesn't need Rolling Stone's validation, okay, so then Rolling Stone never needed to apologize then because BLACKPINK didn't want it or need it. I'm saying this not because I don't believe companies should be held accountable. I do. But when they take accountability, don't say, we didn't need this anyway. This is a company, they have like 50 million employees, and they don't have time to play these little games. If you don't want an apology, which is clear by this reaction, then stop asking for one. And also, by giving this reaction, they and other companies will never apologize again, because they're thinking, if I don't apologize, I get backlash. If I do apologize, I get backlash. So then they just save their breath and not apologize, which I don't want. I like it when companies are being held accountable. There's a lot going on in the news, and people were shocked about that article, and then also surprised to see what BTS has been up to. A couple of fans or locals within Korea were in the BTS or old Big Hit dorm area. This was before Big Hit was HYBE and before they had moved to a much bigger building. They used to only occupy like a few floors in this old building, and then now when they moved, I think they have the entire HYBE building to themselves. So it was recently seen that BTS was there, and there was a large camera crew, seemingly like 9 people there recording BTS, and members had a mic attached to their shirt, which is significant. I will talk about that in a minute. People were saying that these behind the scene photos that got shared online were taken by stalkers, and these people had taken stalker photos of JungKook. Some people were scared of more personal JungKook moments being taken, and others saying that there might be footage of JungKook naked because they believe JungKook was changing, or that this could be a documentary of their older moments. And so there may be naked behind the scene moments. But none of those moments were leaked or seemingly have even happened, and other people saying that JungKook was naked on set, but more in a funny way, saying that in a recent photo where JungKook posted this on his Instagram, he was seemingly wearing the same outfit as the behind the scenes photos were taken by the fans, that JungKook was showing arm tattoo, and that was him naked. Now, calling these fans who took the photo of JungKook and BTS on set stalkers is going a bit too far. Nothing private was leaked, and there really was no need to have any concern for that. However, imagine this situation with another celebrity. Let's say you are eating at a restaurant in that area, then you see a camera crew of like 9 people walking along and filming a random person that you don't know. You might record that and post it online and be like, who's this? Doesn't mean you're a stalker, and doesn't mean you're a fan. There's this controversial rule that is all over the ARMY fandom, which is that things that aren't on the public BTS schedule, the ARMY fandom should not leak if we see it. So then when things that leak online that are just BTS on the street or at a restaurant, people immediately call stalker. Oh, this person is a stalker for leaking this, or they stalked BTS at this restaurant. And it's like casual fans don't exist. Fans who aren't aware of this rule or are just taking pictures because they see a celebrity, and of course once it gets leaked online, people think it's public, and so they share and they get excited. This is just such a normal part of being a celebrity. I don't see this as a big deal at all. Some people were saying that JungKook is so scared of stalkers and would not approve of these photos being taken or whatever. During a previous live stream, JungKook kept getting these weird phone calls. At one point he said, "You're watching the live stream, right? Who are you? Don't do it. I don't like the phone call ringing sound. I'm annoyed and it's scary. I'm getting goosebumps." People were saying JungKook was scared and shaking over this, and so people were more sensitive to this idea that someone who is taking JungKook's pictures without his consent is something that might be upsetting to JungKook. There were literally so many videos and clips online of the filming that also made no sense that they're all stalkers. And so if HYBE's team was so uncomfortable with this being out, they could have easily blocked everyone and not let anything leak or tell everyone to delete everything. I think HYBE did care, but they also realized, there's nothing we can do about it, and so they just let it be. This is very common in the industry. Things leak all the time. I think what HYBE has realized is that when things leak, it doesn't affect the performance of BTS. People will still watch, and they will still also stream, so they let it go. But that is just my theory and conspiracy. People do have some theories as to what BTS was filming, which is the most exciting thing. Recently, HYBE signed a deal with Disney Plus, and there will be several BTS content that will be exclusive to Disney, and we can watch it there. So some people think that this was a Disney Plus show. Others think, due to the mic on their clothes, that this was another BTS episode, because in Run BTS, you can often see their mic. Whatever it is, I'm excited to see what it will become. And if you want to watch these shows and react to them with me, make sure you check out my Patreon. I will link it below, and we always have a good time fangirling over there. So what do you think? Do you think JungKook was scared after these behind the scenes photos were shared? And what do you think of the Rolling Stone apology? Let me know what you think. Make sure you check out my Patreon for more videos, a link down below. Thank you to this lovely comment right here. Love you. Bye.